Hey guys, welcome to another AFK video. It's been forever since I've made any content, but I thought this was too good of a moneymaker to not let all of you know. So today I'm going to show you how to really easily AFK Kril Tsutsaroth, or however it's pronounced, also known as the Giver of Subjugation, which is needed for the tier 80 and 90 Necromancy power armor. This method requires almost literally no input other than a click to keep yourself logged in. Again, there's also pretty much no requirements outside of having Kril unlocked, so having the stats to be able to get into the dungeon and fight the boss. There is one good quality of life unlock, or upgrade, whatever you want to call it, that I would strongly advise you get for this, and that would be the Totem of Intimidation. This can be unlocked quite easily as long as you've got over level 90 Slayer, and it grants the ability for the player to skip the count at God Wars dungeon. So when you teleport into here, normally you have to get 40 kills of the faction before you can go into the boss. Now the Totem of Intimidation cancels that out. What this means is you can set a portal at Wars to go straight to the front door of Kril and click and get straight through the door without having to do the annoying 40 kills. Now I'll pop on the screen real quick the wiki page that tells you how to get each piece. It's pretty simple, it doesn't take too long. There's only one part of it that's RNG, and that's getting the drop from a level 90 Slayer monster on Anachronia. In all fairness, it took me a day or two to get the drop. I wasn't only hunting for the drop, but it did take 2 or 3 days, I would say, maybe only 1 or 2, I don't know, around that number, to get the drop, maybe a couple of hours a day. Once you've got all 3 pieces of that totem, the Intimidation, it's important because there's 3 different drops from the Slayer monsters. Intimidation is the one that you want. You want to bring it to the spot in Anachronia that I'm just popping up on the screen for you now, and then you'll have to activate it by doing a long sort of incantation thing. And once you've done that, you'll be able to enter any of the God Wars dungeon bosses without the kill count, but that doesn't include Nex. Nex has her own requirements. So I'm just going to really quickly go over the gear that I wore for this. You can do this with much lower tier gear than what I'm using, but I've got the tier 90, so I'm going to use it. These are the relics that I was using. So we've got Conservation of Energy, Persistent Rage, and Fury of the Small. The only one of these that you probably actually need, though, is Fury of the Small. The other 2 are just the ones that I had on, and I pretty much always have on. As I said, I was wearing the full tier 90 Necromancy Death Dealer robes, which are the power robes, but you can easily pull this off in the tier 70 gear. That's the armor and weapons. I have done that before, which was fine. My health does drop a bit lower than what it does when I'm in tier 90. But if you sat close by, you know, watching a TV show on your other screen maybe, or something like that, then you'll notice that you use your Excalibur to heal, or just pop Soul Split on, anything like that, whatever floats you go. You can also take the Necro Tank gear of any level and you'll be absolutely fine. I tested this in the tier 90 tank armor and I just didn't take any damage. I was sustaining infinitely. If you combine that with the Darkness incantation as well, you will not take any damage, or no sizable damage at least. So much so that Kril just spawns and kills himself because there's no point in him trying, and he realises that. I was wearing an Amulet of Souls, which is a huge waste of a degrading item, considering I never needed to turn Soul Split on, and it degrades, which then costs money to repair it further down the line. Now I was doing this in an EOF before, so I've saved myself a bit of money, but just wear any necklace, you'll be absolutely fine. I've also got the Book of Wen on me, but it's not activated. You can have any book, you don't even need a book. I just have it there because it's, you know, what I almost always have on. It doesn't really matter. I've got a look at the dwarves on as well. Again, it's not that important to have that. A Ring of Fortune is absolutely fine. Look at the dwarves is what I have, so I used it. Maybe I'll get a bit of extra luck on the drops, but in this whole hour video that I'm playing in the background now, I didn't get a single drop, so maybe not. Also realised as I'm now recording this that I was also wearing Cinderbanes, which is a big waste. It's another degrading item. I could have just worn my tier 90 power or tank gloves and I'd have been absolutely fine. Now I am wearing the Kiln cape in this because it was super easy to get, and I'm not wearing a Zuk cape because I'm not good enough to kill Zuk. Now you don't need the Kiln or Zuk cape for this. You can use pretty much any cape. A skill cape or a max cape is absolutely fine. This is such an easy kill, it really doesn't matter. I'm often AFK in this boss when I'm watching TV, 3D modelling or anything really. Worst case scenario, if you do die, it's going to cost you like 80k to get your stuff back from death. It's really nothing to be worrying about. Got a rune pouch on me as well. Again, that's just something that I pretty much always have on me. Don't really use it. The important thing is the ability bar and how it's set up. Now you want Revolution on 6 slots, and the 6 abilities that you want in this order are Conjure Skeleton Warrior, Conjure Vengeful Ghost, Soul Sap, Touch of Death, Volley of Souls, and Finger of Death. So your Ghost keeps you alive. Its command ability heals you for 175% of the damage it deals. Now if you have this in one of your first 2 slots, I recommend putting it in the second. It's pretty much guaranteeing that it's always going to be active and used over Finger of Death when it's available. Skeleton Warrior, your first conjure, is where a huge chunk of your DPS actually comes from. Now when you combine the passive effect of the Ghost, which boosts all damage from all sources, you're actually dealing huge damage with just the conjures. After that we've got the currency generators, so to speak, which give you souls and necrosis stacks. These are mainly to set up for your for your last 2 abilities, which are just for DPS to get Kril killed as fast as possible. I generally get a kill with this setup somewhere in between 12 and 20 seconds. It depends who attacks me first. If Kril hits me first, he's dead in 12 seconds. If it's a minion, it's a little bit longer. My inventory is, bare bones. Necroplasm so that I can summon, Necro runes because I basically always have them on me, and maybe I want to cast Threads of Fate just to kill everything really, really fast. Or Darkness if Kril manages to hit me too much and I need that little bit of extra protection. I've got Seed Aside to give me a little bit of farming XP if they happen to drop any seeds, and Spring Cleaner in my inventory is just to get rid of the salvage drops and give me cash instead. I have Excalibur on me. That's for emergency, so if Kril hits me twice in a row with this big attack that deals like 4,000 damage, then I would activate the Excalibur for the heal and the defense buff. Now I didn't use it once in this video apart from entering the dungeon, and that's just because when I decided I'd make a video, I was already in an instance, I was down to like half health, I teleported out, started recording, ran in, activated Excalibur. And the Ancient Elven Ritual Shard is just there because whenever I take Excalibur out the bank, I take that as well. Now in this hour-long session, I didn't manage to get a single piece of Subjugation. It happens, RNG. My personal best is I've actually managed to get 6 pieces in an hour before, which is quite a lot of money, especially when it's selling for 20 mil each, 22 mil each. Sometimes you get drops, sometimes you don't. I'm only after the pet to finish the log now, and last week I only had about 70 kills of Kril, and now I've got over 1,500. That's because this method is very effective. It's great to do whilst you're doing other things, if you don't have time to properly be playing, or if you're like me and you like to be an AFK player, minimal input, and you still get decent results. Also, just a quick one, due to the update that came out today, that being the Hero Pass. With this being an AFK method of killing a boss, this will be racking up around 440 points per hour for the Hero Pass. That's because it's a boss. Now you need to earn something mental like 160,000 points to get to level 120 of the Hero Pass. So this is actually one of the best methods, or one of the better methods should I say, as normal combat is only around 200 points per hour and skilling is about the same. Now completing your daily missions and stuff will give you a bigger chunk, but this is consistent points every hour. So yeah, thanks for watching. There's nothing else really left to say. I've left the rest of the video sped up, which is an hour-long footage of me killing. So you can see my HP does drop low at times. The ghost heals me straight back up to full though. Also, if you're not aware, I don't know if everyone is, once your hour is over, instead of teleporting to Wars or Max Guild or Lumbridge, wherever it is that you tend to teleport to after, if you right click the altar, which is what, east or west of the room, you can right click teleport to get out, and it will take you just outside the front door. And what this means is you can create another instance straight away and go straight back in, considering you don't need any supplies for this setup at all. You can just sit here all day doing that over and over. If you teleport to Wars or to, you know, Max Guild, whatever, and you don't have the Totem of Intimidation, that means you're going to have to teleport back here, get your 40 kills before you can enter again, and this method just, you know, cancels that out. So yeah, thanks for watching. Cheers.